this guy, DJ, Daniel Jones.
Your top 10 quarterback in the National Football League.
Again, I think that he very well may be a top 10 quarterback. The issue that has been at hand here is that he reportedly wants $45 million. The franchise tag deadline is tomorrow. And him and the Giants have been at a little bit of an impasse, but they've been discussing week in and week out here, especially over the last week after Aaron Rodgers changed representation from his agency, or Daniel Jones, rather. This is going to be a really unique situation, Mia, because when you look at Daniel Jones, a lot of people say, $45 million a year. Don't see it coming off one good year. Well, here's where I look at this, Mia, and I'm going to pose you on it. I feel like we've reached a point where there's just no going back on quarterback value. Like this is the standard from now on. You are the piece, and you are to be expected to get paid as long as you are productive. And there's no doubting that Daniel Jones was a productive NFL player last year. So I'll ask you on that. Is there any turning back here with NFL quarterbacks?
In terms of, you mean the rising value?
Financially.
No, the toothpaste is out of the tube. We talked about this on XL Primetime last week. One of my co-hosts, Leon Searcy, former All-Pro right tackle, and he said that when people have suggested that here in Jacksonville locally that Trevor Lawrence looks at Tom Brady and how he never was the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League because he was worried about the rest of the team and keeping the core together and making it work financially for the Patriots. And Trevor wants to do that in Jacksonville. And Leon said, that's great that Trevor wants to do it, but I can guarantee you his agent doesn't. And moreover, the powers that be will not let quarterbacks take less money because this is the market value and this is where it's got to go next. And then it's got to go here. And then it's got to go there. Just because then it helps the entire collective of quarterbacks out.
Well, it's also raising the cap, too, for everyone around them involved. I just want to point at this. I don't like fans coming down on Daniel Jones here for feeling like he deserves $45 million because, first off, the first dam break was with Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott missed time last year and still led the league in interceptions for starting quarterbacks. So I think that should give some indication that perhaps there is a little bit of overvaluing going on. And then look what the Cleveland Browns did with Deshaun Watson coming off of everything that he came off of. And so far, that's looking like a deal that is going to blow up in the face. And look what the Broncos did for a quarterback who was, you could have made the argument, was in regression.
Correct.
So for Daniel Jones at 25 years old, to want to leverage a season where he was a great quarterback this past year, where he wants to leverage that into getting paid in a sport that is so unforgiving and your career can end like that. And even if it doesn't, you're potentially dealing with long-term effects for many, many years to come. Man, get that bag. And this is how it's going to be to stay, Mia. I think it's as simple as that.
Can I give you some breaking news?
Go ahead.
Geno Smith has now agreed to a long-term deal, multi-year deal, I should say.
Good for Geno.
Seattle Seahawks.
Did he get paid?
3 years, $105 million.
Yeah. Look at that.
32 years old. Don't call it a comeback, folks.
Good.
And he deserves it. And they beat the franchise tag deadline tomorrow. There were a lot of people at the NFL Combine last week speculating that they would use the tag because the Seahawks have been really doing their homework on this year's quarterback class. And then would they try to draft a quarterback and Geno would just be a bridge. And then he would basically be getting a backhanded slap for the 18th millionth time. But it appears, no, the Seahawks went out and they paid Geno. So it's 3 years, $105 million. I don't have the exact breakdown. I don't think it's been released yet as to how much he will be paid each year. But the question then becomes, John, if Geno's getting paid at 32 with a 3-year contract, Daniel Jones can go back to the Giants and ask for even more money.
Yeah, and look, 45, I know it seems like a lot on the surface, but that's a number that's going to get surpassed in the coming years. It's just how it's going to be. He is a multifaceted player. He showed the promise early in his career. He then had the neck injury, and there were some other things with the coaching staff. I think this guy proved last year that he is versatile enough of a player that you can win with him. And I've said that point many times here. Even if he didn't show up in the playoff game, the whole team didn't show up in the playoff game. And I'm not going to base the entire contract around that. I just think, Mia, at the end of the day, this is the standard now. This is the expectation. If you have someone who you want to be your franchise quarterback, you need to be expected to pay them. You see it across every sport. I mean, the NBA has slots in the cap specifically for this, where you have a superstar on your team, you're going to be expected to pay them superstar money. That's just how it works. That's what the quarterback position is in the NFL.
Geno Smith, by the way, will make $52 million in the first year of that $105 million contract. Good for him. Good for Geno. Because guess what? So 52 of the 105, I'm sure there's some guarantees there. That means it's front loaded, which also suggests that they still could draft a rookie quarterback, John, and then pave the way that maybe they void the third year of that contract if ultimately they're ready for that young gun to step in. Which, who could that young gun potentially be?
If you want to see all our videos about real news stories that are funny, stupid, or weird, click the subscribe button below. Otherwise, we'll start posting spoilers about your favorite new movies.